often. And I am here with my colleague and good friend, Darlene Chadbourne, who is the other numerologist in the state of Maine. There's two of us, and we share it together and try to get the word out how numerology is such a guidance for so many people. Darlene, good morning, Darlene.
Good morning. Good morning, Sue. So nice to be here.
Well, I'm glad that you're here because I'm really excited to learn today. Darlene has written two books. I have one of them, Freedom Through Numbers, by Finding Your I Am. And the newest one, yes, Freedom Through Numbers, easy as 1, 2, 3. And you can get these, are they on Amazon?
Yes, they are.
Yes, it's a wonderful read. Wonderful read. It's very informative, but you can obtain it. You can grab, some numerology books are over our head, but this is wonderful. Wonderful. I highly recommend it for anybody.
Thank you, Sue.
Now the other, Darlene also is a dowser and a labyrinth designer. And I had the privilege of walking her labyrinth when I was down there, I don't know, a month or so ago. And I didn't have much experience with labyrinths. And my friend and Darlene gave me a brief summary and I went through it. And I couldn't believe how my vibration raised so quickly just doing walking around. I have a picture of it. Do you mind if I share it?
No, not at all. You go right ahead.
This is yes, this is the entrance to it, right? No, right here.
That's correct.
Right in here is the entrance to it. It's just absolutely beautiful. And this is the center that was dowsed, right? I mean, the whole thing is dowsed, which you're going to explain to us. But
right.
Yes, it's just so beautiful. I'm so thrilled. I just had no idea. And isn't that crazy? It's my UK classes, we've talked about labyrinths because of the sacred geometry, but I never experienced one. And that was amazing. Amazing. So why we're getting together today is because July 7th, 2023 in numerology is 777, because July is the 7th month, the 7th day, and 2 + 0 + 2 + 3 is 7. So 777 and labyrinths, how does that work?
Well, the reason that the labyrinth fits in so well, one is because of the sacred geometry, but I use the 7-circuit labyrinth, which is a model that excuse me, represents our 7 chakras. And so look at all the 7s we're lining up here. Okay, when we align things, and that's what's happening this month, is we have the month that's a 7, that's aligned with the day that's a 7, that's aligned with the year that's a 7. And I'm going to be hosting walks and have the labyrinth and invite anyone who wants to come in person, or even doing a finger labyrinth. If you can find a picture of a labyrinth on the computer, you can just follow the path with your finger and walk in and walk out. We're going to talk about that. But I want to point out that it's not just the 7th this month. The 16 is the 1, and the 6 is a 7. So we have that day as well. And then the 25th, which the 2 and the 5 is the 7. Right. So we have 3 days this month with that alignment. And I'm going to have the labyrinth is always open to visit it. But I'm going to, on those 3 days, I'm going to encourage people to walk at 7 in the morning and 7 at night. Yeah. So
that's funny, because I was sitting here thinking, I have a labyrinth about an hour away from me, and I was thinking, gee, I should really be down there at 7 a.m. starting the journey around it. Yeah. That's interesting. Cool.
And the way you walk the labyrinth is you start at the entrance, and there's only one path in and one path out. And you cannot see how you're going to get to the center. So you have to trust by putting one foot in front of the other and just following the path, you're going to get there. And the same thing. And when you get to the center, you release everything that no longer serves you. And then you ask to be filled, because that center of a labyrinth creates a vortex above and below. And so we're in, it reminds me of the Star Trek beam me up, Scotty energy. Okay.
Yes, love it. I love it.
And so we can sit in that energy, stand in that energy, and just say, please give me what I need to take out into the world to help the world heal in peace and love. And then take that energy out with us to be present for us. Okay, so we can be present for others as well as ourselves.
Right. Nice. Nice.
So,
That's wonderful. Yeah, that is wonderful. Now you explained to me there was two types of labyrinths, right? No, there was a
yes, there
male
are
and a female, right?
yes, and when I douse the labyrinth, I start in the center. I douse the center point, and then I douse where the entrance is going to be. The majority of the time, not always, but the majority of the time, the entrance is in the east, like the sun rises in the east. So they usually line up that way. And then I douse whether it's going to be a female entrance, which that means if you walk into the labyrinth, and this one you just showed is the female, you turn, the first turn is on the third row in. And so think about our third chakra, which is our solar plexus, and our umbilical cord is how we come into the world.
Right.
Okay. So it's turning to the left when it's a female. If it was a male labyrinth, you would that be on the other side of the spine. That line that goes from the entrance right up to the center is called the spine. And it would just enter on the opposite side, and that you'd go up to the third row and turn to the right, and that would be the male. So you can see that solid line.
Right up here. Yeah.
Right up to the center. That's the spine. And then the first row is the wider one, the second, and then the third row goes in around the tree. I happen to have 3 trees in my labyrinth that have requested to be in the labyrinth. One's a very powerful oak, and the other 2 are twin pines. And then we have, you can't see it in this picture, but between the oak and the twin pines, we have a fairy garden.
Yes.
And it's growing every day. And people bring rocks that are special to them to the labyrinth, to put in the labyrinth, or crystals. And there's also crystals on each marker division, each line. And there's a different crystal. If you go to my website, there's a description of the types of crystals that are in each row.
Yeah, and I think that's really important for people to do that if they're coming down to walk your labyrinth, because then you know what you're working on, and you know what's going on with the crystals that are helping you through your journey.
Well, if you have something that belongs to you and you've had in your house for a while, okay, and you bring it to the labyrinth and set it in the labyrinth, even when you leave, that energy of yours is being worked on. Okay. And then, yes, all that time that it's there. And then also you have the ability, if you choose that one of the rocks in that labyrinth is really calling to you, you have the ability to pick up one. There are a few major big ones that I'd rather people would leave alone, but any of the other rocks that are speaking to you. And interesting enough, you haven't heard about this, Sue, but in the last 2, maybe 3 weeks now, there has been a very interesting indigo blue that has been showing up on the rocks.
Oh,
In
wow.
they were white rocks or gray rocks, but all of a sudden they've got these indigo blue marks, and it's
Oh,
not a
good.
fungus, it's smooth. And
Yeah.
so energy is working,
Mhm.
and we get all different
That is
kinds of
so
signs.
cool. Yes, because they are talking about the blue energy that's coming. I don't know if you saw the reading that I was doing and the blue orb that was kept going around me. Yeah, it's the blue is here. It's very
That's
significant. It's
right.
healing energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my, that's
Absolutely.
so
And
cool.
that third eye for everybody
Right.
is opening more. Okay.
Right.
And so,
That is so cool. And it's so cool that I can take a piece of the labyrinth with me, or I can leave a piece of myself there. That's amazing
mhm.
because that's like a huge community,
It
right?
is. Well, just like the trees, I was so excited when the trees wanted to be in the labyrinth because they communicate underground. They have an
Right.
incredible underground system of communication. And so we become part of that. And the big oak tree is right at the moment in the beginning was just dealing with grief. There was an awful lot of grief. And I've lived through multiple grief events on two pieces of property that are right next to each other here. And the labyrinth had to be over the line. And so it
Oh,
involves both pieces of property. But now that big oak tree, according to the communicator I have, is dealing with grief into joy. At
oh,
first, it was just taking in the grief, taking in the grief. Now it's moving grief into joy.
mm,
And so that transition, is just beautiful when it happens.
that's
Yeah,
so cool. It's
right.
so cool. I mean, and I'm always telling people energy is energy, it's there for us to experience, but we have to slow down and we have to find the right tools for us. Everybody's an individual and to enjoy it, to live it, right?
Well, the one word I use a lot is we need to allow it.
Oh, that's a good,
Okay.
yeah.
Because in society, we've been trained
Mhm.
that there isn't any such thing. Okay.
Correct, correct.
And now we need to open up to that. And
Mhm.
the other very important thing is awareness. Once we have the
Yes,
awareness of something, it opens the door to us to be, for us to be able to receive, because
right,
otherwise we're not receiving. And
correct,
receiving is very important right now. Staying out of fear and in the love vibration as much as we
right.
can.
Yeah, it's
So
like we were saying the other day. It's we have to ask, right? We have a whole slew of ancestral spirits, animal spirits, master, wanting to help us, and but they can't until we ask.
absolutely, that's the rule
Mhm.
on the other side.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it
And
is.
I have had so many beautiful experiences from asking. And you
Mhm.
just need to, and once you ask, then you receive. Okay, you have to be open to receiving. But the other thing that's so important is intention. If we
Mhm.
can set an intention, we're going to walk this labyrinth and we're going to get just what we need out of it.
Right.
Okay. And then you have the expectation, and then watch for the synchronicities to
Mm.
happen,
Yes.
because they do happen. They show up here, there, unusual ways. And if you're paying attention, and it really helps to keep a diary, sort of write
I
the
bet.
date if you see something different and synchronistic, and
Right.
because you're journeying, you're on a journey
Mhm.
for your soul to accomplish what it needs to accomplish here.
Right.
And
Correct. And that can be explained through numerology.
it sure can. We do that every
Um,
day.
yes, we do. It's wonderful. One of the questions I had when I came out of the labyrinth and we were sitting and chatting was, I said to you, do you walk this every day? Because I'm thinking, oh my God, I would just be living in this thing. And you said, I don't need to, because it works for me and my land around me. And I thought that was very amazing.
Well, what happens with the labyrinth, once it's established, that area that it affects grows and grows and grows. And of course, my house is right next to it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm in it full time. I do walk it though. I mean, like yesterday, a couple of people showed up to walk it. And so I went out, I hadn't seen them for quite a while, and walked it, with them. And so I do walk it, but I notice, that I'm sort of flying high and have to get grounded again.
Yeah.
If I do it too much.
That's what happened to me when I came out of it. I was so amazed. I just couldn't, I didn't have any inclination that anything like that was going to happen, transpire.
Right. It's
It
very
was
important to make sure you focus on grounding through your feet, roots, touch the trees, in order to drive after you've been here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I encourage people, or if they have like peppermint oil or vetiver oil, or something to just get them grounded, because you can get, a little spacey.
Yeah, very much so. Yes.
Or
Yes.
just sit for.
And it feels good. You don't want it to go away because it just feels so good. You're connected. Now, dowsing. You learned to douse a while back, and you've been practicing with us. Now, I douse with my pendulum.
Correct.
And I also have my copper rods that I use.
Hell rods.
I don't know. I don't really know. I know my pendulum I can work very well. The rods, I'm not sure what it means, and maybe I'm making too much out of it.
Well, I think my impression of dowsing is whatever tool we use, including our fingers. I douse with my fingers.
Yes, you told me that. That's right.
And I've developed that over the years because it's been a lot of years. And we can program our fingers to give us the messages we need. But I consider dowsing an extension of the soul. And whatever tool we use, it's like plugging in to the soul's energy. Like you have an extension cord, you plug it in, and it allows you to go further.
Right.
With the electricity. Well, this is our electrical current that we're already plugged into the universe above and below. My figure 8 thing I love.
Right.
So when we are connected above and below, and then we pick up a tool to douse with, that energy is flowing through that tool to have us connect to our knowing. You see, because a lot of us everybody has a knowing. Everybody has that gift, but it's not easy to listen to it or determine it or feel it. It takes practice, but you need to plug in. And so that's what I consider dowsing is just plugging into your circuit and being able to read the energy in a way that is necessary. Recently, I've had a couple inquiries about map dowsing and how to find something by map dowsing. And there's so many different types of dowsing that is used, and they use it for all kinds of things. Water dowsing is the best known one, but I use it with my clients. I douse all 7 chakras, as well as the physical energy, the emotional energy, the mental energy field, the spiritual energy field, and the energetic energy field. So in my mentoring work, it's all about dowsing and what is working in your energy fields, not what do I see from the outside. It's let's tap in. And I always ask their higher self and spirit guides to work with my higher self and spirit guides. So, and this is what you do too, Sue.
Right.
And once you get that pendulum in your hand, and you can
Yeah.
just, learn all kinds of things.
I had a friend tell me the other day, she was taking a test and she was really stressed out about it. She had this necklace on. She kept leaning over, asking yes or no questions to see if her necklace would answer, was helping her out. It was wonderful.
Just tell her it's easier if you take it off.
Oh, shoot. Oh my, that's so good.
But that's true. You can use, especially something
Yes.
that you can take a ring off your finger and put it on a string and use it,
Yes.
something that's close to your energy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the 777 is just such an alignment this year. And it only happens this month because
Right.
next year will be in an 8-year. So it'll be August, the 8th month. And
Right.
the 8th days, the days that are eights, and the 8-year. So we have this every year. And one thing that's different is when we get to either October, November, and December, or January, February, and March, we have it twice in a year
Mhm.
because the 1, 2, and 3 are
Right.
January, February, March, and also October, November, and December.
Right. Yes.
So this alignment is very similar to the alignment of the sun and the moon and the earth when we have an eclipse.
Right. Yeah.
It's align.
Right.
When things align, that word align
Mhm.
is the 7 energy.
Yeah. Yes.
The word
Yes. So true. Yes.
is.
Oh, is it really?
It
When
is.
you,
I calculated
oh,
it.
no stuff.
The earth is the 7 energy.
Mm,
Okay,
wow.
that word. And think about the letters of words and figuring them out because
Yeah.
they are just
Right.
as powerful as our names. And if you take earth and take the H and put it in front, it's heart,
Oh, heart. Right.
another 7 energy.
Yeah.
Mother is a 7 energy.
Mm, yeah.
Okay. Mother
Right.
Earth.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that's cool.
that 7 is my belief is the energy of the metaphysical world, the spiritual world, the
Yes.
relaxation. We really need to relax and connect
Right.
with things. So that 7 energy is powerful, but it's also a studious energy. I
Hmm.
find people with a lot of 7s, they never want to stop learning. They could go to
Right.
school forever.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. I have a friend with 3 7s in her core energy, and this is her life job, is to study, is to learn on deeper levels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so philosophy is
Hmm.
those deep subjects, archaeology, those things,
Right.
history. Excuse me.
Now, does every so now this, and I asked you about this, my labyrinth that my girlfriend and I are going to go visit uh
Mhm.
is, I'm not sure if it's dowsed or not, and I'm really hoping it is dowsed because I feel like a dowsed labyrinth is a lot more powerful than an undowsed one. But does that
Well,
really matter? I don't know.
I don't think it matters completely because there are many uh, labyrinths that are just laid out. The pattern is painted on the pavement or dug into
Yeah.
the lawn or whatever without, they just want that perfect pattern.
Hmm.
Okay. And you can do that. And yes, there is an energy to it because you're still walking the path and stuff. I just feel personally that I need to ask permission of the earth if it
Hmm.
wants a labyrinth there. And also, I don't want to be pulling water from the neighbor's property,
Right,
to
right.
my property. Because the power of the labyrinth is like water dowsing, it can
Right.
create that water
Mm.
pocket. So with that, I think it's important to ask the earth, and that's why I douse, is where do you want the center of this labyrinth? Where would it be most beneficial for most people? And then the directions, of course. And the other fascinating one that I doused 8 years ago now with my partner Hank, is a double labyrinth. We had a male and a female labyrinth, and if I wouldn't have asked the earth, we wouldn't have had a double labyrinth.
Oh,
And it wanted, and you look like if you picked them up, they look like two pancakes. And if you picked them up and put them together, they are exact
oh, wow.
duplicates. Okay, because if you picture that the female turns to the left, okay, so look at your left hand and where your thumb goes,
Right.
and the male turns to the right and look at where that goes on your right hand. You put them together, they're identical.
Right.
And so, and there was a beautiful tree. I really connect with trees. And there was a beautiful tree on that property. And we dowsed the intention of the property owner was to heal the energy of this town she grew up in. It was a mill town. It was sort of run down.
Yeah.
She wanted to raise the vibration. And so I dowsed the vibration of the town from 1 to 100 the day when we laid out where they were going to go. And it was like 43%. When we finished the 2 labyrinths, and it amazed me because we dowsed 2 labyrinths in one day. The spirit had to be working with us because it's nearly impossible. They're 50 feet in diameter, both of them. And so we dowsed one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And when we finished that evening, the energy of Somersworth dowsed at 83%.
Just that day?
Just within the day after we put the patterns down. And my Hank has passed, and we did a celebration labyrinth walk on his birthday. And that was last November. And I dowsed it again, and the energy of Somersworth is 98%. And that town is revitalizing. The downtown area is getting redone. There's more people moving in. It's been beautiful to watch.
That's amazing. I mean, that's amazing. All towns should know that, to just have their own. Well, you know, in the UK, they're everywhere.
They sure are.
They're everywhere. They know that they need them. They know that it's helpful. The other thing is, it doesn't matter how big these are.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I asked the earth, that's how they get big. I mean, mine is 64 in one direction with the trees and 54 in the other direction. But you can do a 3-circuit labyrinth, just a little one in your garden, or the Greek key, which is an interesting pattern, how you can also do that. And in my labyrinth classes, I teach all those things.
I didn't know you taught labyrinth classes.
Oh, yes. When we had a big dowsing class here before we put the labyrinth in to teach people how to douse. And then we made the workshop a full day labyrinth workshop, and we taught about putting the labyrinth in when we did it. And I did one in Boxford, Mass in May. And then, you know, every chance I get,
Right.
You know.
Right. So if we sign up for your newsletter, we're going to find out about those classes that are coming. And
yes, I'm doing more in-house classes now that everything we've gotten out of the lockdowns. But I do Zoom classes as well. And I'm working on a curriculum right now of new classes.
Nice.
So
that's cool. That's cool.
Right.
I think everybody should know at least little pieces about this, because they can work with their own land, and that helps the whole Mother Earth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just our making the intention of being connected to the heavens and the earth. And we figure that connection in our Kundalini line from the crown chakra to the root is our connecting rod. We are the connecting rod. And, you know, I mean, in old historical, maybe it was biblical, they always said, you can make heaven on earth. Well, that's our job, is to create the connection between the two. So
That's really beautiful. That's very nice. I really like that a lot because that's true. We can make heaven on earth.
yeah. And it's our attitude and how we look at life. And yes, we do have difficulties. It doesn't eliminate every difficulty,
Right.
but we have the strength to get by the difficulties
Right.
with that,
Correct.
that connection.
Now, I hear you talking numbers, and the earth was 43, the earth was 83. What does that mean? Is that that's a dowsing thing?
Well, when I douse with numbers, numbers is my life. I mean,
I hear
that's
you.
why I got into numerology. People cringe that belong to the college institutions when I tell them I got my math degree with sacred geometry and numerology. I'm not a math degree, but my math component of my, I got a psychology degree, but I had to do math and I was afraid to. But anyway, so with dowsing is I've learned that working with numbers and dowsing is very important. And because I can set up in my mind, okay, if there's zero energy, it's a zero. If 100% is operating, it's 100. Okay. So when I douse anything and I douse the energy of that town, and I just douse with my fingers and I count my tens. Okay. The energy is at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and it stops at 40 because for me, when I push on my thumb, it's a yes. When it flips, it's a no. And so when it stops, then I go, okay, 40, 41, 42, 43, and pay attention. And I practice this so much that I can do it without thinking about it. And that's how you need to develop any dowsing. So you're really not thinking, it's just connecting, giving you the answer. And the other magic of that particular double labyrinth is I did the numerology of the town.
Right.
And I did the numerology of the state.
Yeah.
Okay, so the town, I can't remember which was which, but the one was an 11-2 and the other was a 22-4. So together they were at 33-6.
Oh, there you go.
The healing energy
most
was
definitely
incredible. That being in that town.
Wow.
And in that state. So our state of Maine is a 6.
Yes.
And
I do know that. Yes.
Yeah. And we've got the poles almost, I'm down south in Wales in Europe.
Right, that's right.
Bangor up north, that area. Not quite at the top, but pretty far up there. So
yeah. I have 6 energy. I can't remember you. I think you have 22-4, don't you?
I have 22-4 and I have 3 14 or 41 5s. A lot of 5 energy. So hence the writing in the book.
Yes, and experiencing life through your senses. Right.
Yep. Right.
Yeah. Very important. Where did this all originate? The labyrinths and
for me personally?
Yeah.
Well, this 7th Circuit labyrinth historically was discovered, at least as far as history goes back with it, in Greece on the Isle of Crete. And so that is the oldest one that they found. The other type of labyrinth, you asked me about this a while ago and we got past that without answering it, is I refer to as the Chartres Cathedral labyrinth. It's a large, and it's laid out in quarters. A lot of the churches prefer that labyrinth. And Christianity sort of overrode some of the pagan sites, and all of a sudden there's cathedrals on them. And so it was put into quarters to represent the what did they call the passion and the walk of the pilgrimage. That's the word I'm looking for. As a pilgrimage. So one quarter is about one particular, I wish I had it in front of me. I
Yeah,
wasn't prepared for that. But
that's
each
okay.
quarter is a part of the whole.
Mhm.
And it's to represent a pilgrimage to Jerusalem, or,
Right.
and,
Which is what we should do every time we step into a labyrinth, is a pilgrimage for ourselves, our journey, our souls.
journey to the self.
Yeah.
Yes. And, in we have that human being, Jesus of Nazareth, who represented and why he was, taken to be such an example for us, is the way he was so compassionate. And that 33-6, that Christed energy,
Right.
is, his name wasn't Jesus Christ, it was Jesus of Nazareth, but the Christed energy
Right.
is what we practice when we are compassionate, taking care of one another, taking
Right.
care of ourselves in that way. And
Yeah.
that 6 energy is about healing. It's about nurses, doctors, mothers,
Right.
family come under those things.
Right.
We could talk numbers all day.
Yeah. Everybody who wants to do selfless service is the 6, is the
Yeah. And what I
Yeah.
do try to remember to tell them is, yes, serve others, but not at your own expense,
Yes.
because if they have that number, they're very good at giving up themselves.
Correct. Yes. And that's not good for the health.
No,
Not good for the health
no,
at
no.
all. Yeah. Oh, this is also so very interesting. Now I want to run right out and make one in my yard. And
Well,
okay, so what if I
easy.
did want to do that? How would I do that?
Well, you could set up a little workshop around it, and we could douse it, and
Right.
like I say, one book I'll recommend to you is Sig Longring's book on labyrinths. Okay. And he has a very good book on the history of labyrinths, and he's done a lot of work over in the UK on all the sacred sites over there. And he actually is from Vermont. He is a member of the American Society of Dowsers. And that is an active group. And
Well, you're very active in that, correct?
I am on some levels. This year, I did not go to the convention because it was in New York State, a little too far to travel, and for me. And originally, they always had them in Vermont, and it was a beautiful college campus. And that is where, it's because of one of their older dowsers in that group, Marty Kane, that I learned to douse a labyrinth. And I was in college, and this was in 98. I graduated in 99. I was a late bloomer. I started when I was 50. But anyway, during my math study, 2 things happened. One of my herbal clients invited me to go to the Boston Museum of Science to see Leonardo da Vinci's traveling display. And that, I've always been enthralled by that man. And then I came home, and 2 weeks later, I had a postcard in the mail inviting me to come learn how to douse a labyrinth with Marty Kane. That was my first labyrinth. And my daughter and I both took that class in Kittery, Maine. And that labyrinth still is there. It's at a residence, though, and the residence has been sold, so it's not as open to the public as it used to be. And it's in Pine Grove. And I just had some incredible experiences there. So that was my beginning of learning how to douse a labyrinth.
That's so cool. It's so cool.
And anybody that's close, every first Wednesday of the month, there's a dowsing group that meets in Falmouth at the St. Mary's Big Stone Church on Route 81, I think it is, right practically downtown Falmouth. So,
and what do they do? I mean, are you perfecting your dowsing skills? What goes on in a group like
they
that?
both teach. They also have speakers. It's a lot of discussion groups, so people can come and ask questions. And get answers, and we discuss a lot of things besides the dowsing. We get into a lot of different spiritual practices, spiritual energy, different spiritual phenomena. And so tomorrow, today's 4th. Yes, tomorrow night is the meeting. I'm going to try to go because I'm trying to get more and more people to understand the 777 importance.
Yes.
And so I probably will be there tomorrow night. But it happens usually every month. It's a good thing to get on their mailing list, and because you'll get an email if it's happening, or if it's canceled, they'll let you know. But
it's funny. Dowsing used to be very common, like in my grandparents' day. I can remember they knew a dowser. I think it's alder. Is it an alder that you use?
It can be any tree branch, but that's what they did. A lot of willow tree. Willow knows how to find water. Okay. A tree knows how to find water, and that's why they would use the Y branches. Any Y branch, and you hold the Y rod with your hands, and it points straight out, and then you ask where the water is, and that thing will go straight down wherever the water is. Or if you're asking a question, you have to be careful because it'll come right back and hit you in the head. So,
I can remember my grandfather had one. I remember them doing that, and I was so amazed by it. But it was like nonchalant, here we go, and then
the farmers needed to know where they could find water.
Right.
Okay. And a lot of military people know how to douse. A lot of plumbers know how to douse when they have to come find the septic tank. Okay?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And so, and there's our Earth has these ley lines, this energy connection.
You read my mind.
and so you can douse energy lines. I know the group that helped put this labyrinth in here, we had some incredible dowsers, and one gentleman was dowsing energy lines while we were dowsing the labyrinth, and it worked out so strangely because 2 of the energy lines crossed exactly right where that center was, and then the 3rd energy line sort of circled around 1/2 of it, and so that's why it feels so powerful. And I had a channeler there, and they had said that they just could feel the archangels surrounding it when we got done, because we were all asked to move into the center, and then the archangels just sort of surrounded it.
Oh my Lord.
And so
that ley line, is that on the way out, the energy line or is it on the way in?
Actually, the 2 that cross, are on a diagonal. They're not an exact 4 square cross. Okay, they're on an angle. And then the one that's on the outside, it's on the outside toward my driveway, is that other one, and it goes behind the house and out across the road.
Okay. Yeah.
So so there's and then we have we have a brand new sign that has been made at the entrance with a little prayer on it and the diagram. I should have taken a picture and showed it to you, where you come in so people can see, footsteps. I've got a diagram of footsteps walking into the labyrinth. And that's
because it is amazing. I thought for sure. Well, I said to my friend who said, follow me, I said, we're going to get lost. This does, I really didn't think this would work. And it was amazing how it just works. You just follow the way and it just comes out. I bought myself, somebody suggested, and I bought myself a little one that I can sit and play with.
Is that the 4 quartered one?
I don't know. Can you see?
Yes, that's the quartered one. That's the Shards Cathedral one.
Oh.
That is
Wow.
different than this one. Okay. This one here is a 7 circuit. I'll have to send you some pictures. Let me see if, yeah, I don't know. It would take too much time on your recording for me to go find pictures. But that is not the 7 circuit one. That is, you see how the path goes in and then it winds back and forth in that 1/4. And where's
Okay,
the
so
opening?
the path goes
Opening is
in,
there. Okay. And it goes in and then it winds back and
right,
forth, back and forth,
right,
back and forth.
yeah,
And it's not, see where the one I have goes in, goes all the way around the center and then back. It goes,
right.
there's only 7 rows and there's 7
Oh,
rows
okay,
there, but they're quartered differently. So, but it's valid. I mean, it's still
yeah,
a labyrinth. And a lot of people call them a maze, but they're not a maze because a maze has dead ends. You
mm.
you
Oh,
have to
oh,
stop
that's
and figure
true,
out if that's a maze. These are not mazes. You just trust that you will get where you're going. And,
right.
so there's no
Now,
dead ends.
it might be fun for me to douse my house to find the real an energy spot and to sit with this in that energy spot and
Sure.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Play
doing
with
this
it, Sue.
afternoon.
You're very intuitive. Play with it. Is it raining up your way?
No, not yet. Is it
No,
down there?
it's, we've had a very rainy week. We had 3 inches of rain
Yeah.
day before yesterday. And,
Yeah, it is what it
interesting.
is. This
Yep.
is what yeah, there you go. We say no more, but it is very interesting. Isn't it?
Mhm.
It's what happens when we don't have snow.
Right.
Gonna come
Right.
sooner or later. Yeah,
That's true.
so now if somebody wanted to reach you to find out more, or maybe even dow some of their land to help them build a labyrinth, or just to find their energy center points, how can they do that? What would be?
Well, I am on the internet. My website is just darlenechadbourne.com.
Okay.
And my email address is midlifespirit@gmail.com.
We're coming back down in October. I can't wait. I might even have to make a special trip just because it's such an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've experienced anything like that. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
It is too
wonderful.
bad we're so far apart, but it's it'll
It's
be
not
what it
that
be.
far. It's not that far. You're not out of state, so it's just a
No,
matter of me
almost, but
getting up
not
and
quite.
coming. That's all. Darlene, I want to thank you so much for sharing all this information with me. It's amazing, and I encourage anybody to reach out. Darlene's very kind, loving, knowledgeable, and a joy to be with. So all her information will be below the video, so you can find out and reach out to her. So thank you very much.
I just ask people to have patience because as I get busier, I sometimes have a little bit of time lapse before I can get back to you. So
Right. We all understand that. I think that was the part of the COVID thing, was trying to teach us patience, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
A big
Darlene,
fan.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you. You're a lovely hostess.